Hello guys, welcome back to the Fire God Photoshop course creation. And today is a very special day. It's a very special class because we're starting for real our course. And the best way when we try to teach graphic design or Photoshop, usually it's kind of good to create some basic and solid to create a solid basis. And that basically means that we need to talk about principles, and you can understand this design principles as some rules, some general ideas about design, and what makes great design great. And it's really important that we can understand this, or at least we start the process of understanding and internalizing this. So yeah, definitely, this is just one class. And you had other classes in the course, but okay, you can study the slide. You can even try to memorize all the rules, but it's definitely when it comes down to practicing and working that this actually will come more natural to you. So let's just begin the class. The first thing about when we talk about graphic design principles is that, well, so what are they for? And pretty much just like the name says, design is pretty much made by kind of these rules, these principles, these general and universal ideas. And as long as you try to be conscious about this, probably your work, your final artwork will probably just be good, be great. And when we talk about the importance of being consistent as designer or in design work, those principles are definitely some guys that we want to carry with us. So if you kind of respect these rules, probably you end up with a good result. So that's it's really cool. It's a pretty good idea. So today's class is pretty much about 6 rules. So we're going to talk today about 6 principles that, in our experience and in opinion, are the major rules. So if you actually master the 6 ideas, it's really you're definitely going to see like some key jumps in evolution. So hierarchy, contrast, alignment, proximity, repetition, and balance. These are some great ideas, universal ideas that let's just keep going. And well, something that is like a disclaimer that we need to make is that, yeah, definitely, these are general ideas. These are kind of rules. You kind of want to always to follow them, but design has this more subjective feel or aspect to it, so you can eventually break these rules. Like part of creating new stuff or innovating in this space is to go against them. So yeah, that is not really right or wrong idea. It's all about context. It's all about the objectives of the goals of the work you're doing. And definitely you probably see as you search, as you get to know more others design work, you definitely just realize that sometimes they kind of play around with those rules, and they kind of create this whole dynamic. And well, so what is hierarchy? And is a principle number 1, and definitely the most important, at least in my opinion. And you should try to understand the hierarchy as the organization and presentation of the design elements in an order of importance. So this is really key. And so when you create a flyer, a website, a social media post, pretty much anything, you just kind of want to make clear for who's watching, who's seeing, or whatever, or who is experienced that design work, that there is a major and a principal element. Then all the other elements in order of importance appear, and the difference between them is really clear. Is really clear. You definitely want to create design work that everybody can look at it and understand. Wow, okay, this is so. I could even use like this design layout. You, as you look at this slide, automatically your eyes will probably go towards the what is hierarchy. So there's definitely the major element. So, and the second, and you should definitely consider as well, like in web civilization, we just kind of read from left to right. So definitely your eyes kind of come from the title, then the subtitle, like principle one, and it's easily you can understand that you need to go here and then from the support text. And if you would like to number this like 1, 2, 3, and 4 in order of importance, and yeah, there's also like this small texts in the presentation, but it's like a technique. Is kind of a play around technique, a hack that we'll talk about later. So these are some social Instagram feed, some content we created. You can see that is actually in Portuguese. That is our home native language here in Brazil. So the same idea repeats here, right? You can definitely and easily see that this is the title. You automatically your eyes just jump to reading this, and there's a subtitle, and it's pretty easy. It's really clear the difference. It really pops it out. So this is actually important. Here the same idea repeats it. So 1, 2, and 3 in levels of importance, and in the Spider-Man art, the title and the subtitle is really clear. There's no doubt about where should you look at what is the main information in the design. So hierarchy that works well. Once again, now without text, but you can definitely see that the Drake or James Harden or the soccer players kind of or in the hierarchy, they just follow the same idea. So you can definitely see like your eyes just pop to the player, to the rapper, then to the Drake name, logo, whatever, and the Nike symbol kind of comes in toward hand. The same idea repeats here and in the soccer design. Now let's talk about arts that do not work as well. The first one, the problem is that now you understand, like, okay, I get it that this is the main information, but see how similar they look, like the size of the text and how like the boldness of the text is way more close and similar than the previous art we showed it. So now it kind of gets messy when you look at this. It's kind of get confuses, and your experience as you experience this design, it's not really that clear. And design is definitely all about being really clear and conscious about what you're trying to communicate for your customer, client, whatever. The same idea is here. The title, I can understand that it's the main idea. I can understand there's a title, but the texts and are pretty once again pretty similar. So it does not pop out as much, and this is a problem. The experience of design is worse. And once again, right here, the players all have pretty much the same area, volume, whatever, and it just kind of gets confusing. Now, what the soccer team logo kind of competes with the Christ, and the text is kind of in the same area. If we were to draw like a square here, here and a rectangle here, they're pretty much all the same sizes. So it's not really clear where should I look first. So this art would be way better if the players were in different sizes, and maybe you could put the Christ statue like behind or more with less opacity. The soccer logo could just be like really small, like just a signature of the art. Then it would be probably better. Now let's jump to the second rule, the second principle, and is contrast. So pretty much contrast is difference, like how two elements, two images, two colors resonate with each other. So it's pretty much all about just trying to fix our viewers' attention and intensify the meanings of the elements, and try to create the idea of prominence between them. So and we can and you can use this like with color, size, and boldness or weight in typography, and you could even use like other elements or other techniques to do so. And again, if we talk about our slide, you see like we have three colors. We have white, black, and blue, and the blue and white kind of contrasts well, so it's really easy for you to read everything that is in the image. So imagine if the blue was a little lighter, and now it's kind of hard to read it, and this is a problem. Other thing that kind of works is that when I talked about like this small text is, and you can see like there is in the bottom as well, they kind of create the idea of contrast. Like we have this big title, and now we have like this small pieces of information that don't really matter, like just these details, and this kind of gets the idea of contrast as well. So we have an example, even in simple thing like a PDF or slide, you could have this. So you have the contrast in color, and we have the contrast in size, and even between like the contrast is different sentence and the rest of the text, and because they have like different bold measurement or classification or like different weights. And now just kind of exemplifying what I just talked before. So how you can create contrast with color, blue against the white, black against the white. You could use with font sizes. So this is a 70 points typography, and then just followed by a small font sizing. And we try to use like bold against regular or light classifications for fonts. So this is really good. It's a simple idea. The cool thing about contrast or overall principles of design is that they are basic ideas. Everyone can understand this. But now getting to taking the theory for practice, for design itself, for Photoshop, it kind of gets a little more complicated. But the idea of the course is pretty much that, and understanding the principles and the which we're teaching in this module 2 about theory and principles of design is really important. And definitely we'll just speed up how fast can you learn. Now, some good examples of contrast that works well. You have you have the white background against this pinky text. Easy to see academically. Everybody can pretty much read it, and we even have this kind of soldier imagery that is playing with the black and white. So really easy to see. The same idea happens with this Neymar artwork. We even have like this more bright side and versus more shadow, with more shades and something like this. Now, if we try to analyze some stuff right here, like definitely you see how the typography kind of gets confused with the background. It's not really that easy to see. You kind of have to close your eyes, pay attention, and this is just not really good for the user experience with design. So imagine if you're just scrolling through Instagram and something like this shows up. Maybe it doesn't catch your attention, and you just your work will not really perform well. The same idea happens in this carousel, because the background against the text is just kind of confusing. There's so much information that once again you need to pay attention. You kind of need to pay attention and pay attention and just kind of make a little force to really understand what's happening, and that's not really good. And in this Kawaii Learner, you see how the colors are kind of messy and confusing as well. The ball kind of disappears right here, so it does not really make sense. And like in real life, this would not make sense, and sometimes this is a good principle as well, or a good idea, like how in the real world we like to see stuff, and these are just not really good examples. So another one really powerful and just another simple idea that a lot of beginners like just can't understand or just naturally go do it wrong. And once they kind of understand it and become conscious about this, you can definitely see the improvement like really fast. So alignment principle three, the idea that elements should not be placed randomly without a layout. And it's really visually easy to explain this, but you pretty much want to just align everything in your art, especially if you're working with typography. Just like align everything in the same line. It's pretty much obvious. Like the idea is kind of basic as well. So if we again, like I think it's kind of cool to show how those principles work in the slide as well. So right here, you can definitely you can see that it's just a straight line that all this text is kind of placed on, glued on, and the same idea happens here. So it's really easy to understand what's happening. It's not confusing. It's clear. It's really objective. So the overall experience of someone who is watching this class, or someone who eventually will read something like this slide, is really good. It's really easy. So we always want to look for something like that. And well, here's an example of even grids in Photoshop. So they are all aligned, they are all symmetric as well. And well, the readability of this carousel or this Instagram post or whatever, is just like really cohesive and really easy. The overall experience it just helps. And yeah, another good idea that is in the slide is that usually when we work with text, just align them on the left. I would definitely recommend you like just don't really play let me just don't really play try to innovate too much with typography. It's kind of we do have like the specific classes about typography in the course, like follow it up, but just go with the left one. As you can see, like all the slides it was created aligned text to the left. The same goes to our social media material. So it's just how we actually read in the West, right? Yeah. So Japan and I guess some East countries, they do the opposite, but we are in the West, pretty much in the Westernization. We're talking in English or communicating in English. So let's just follow this idea. So here you can see like just pretty much all based on geometric shapes and grids. They start and they end in the same place. The same idea happens in the right side of the image. So we have the players, and behind this geometrical shape, and we have the typography Belgian. And it's almost like you had this big rectangle that the image is kind of composing, and the same goes here. We kind of see this square and overall have this geometric feel to it. So really easy layouts to create just by placing information and align them. So really powerful for knowledge. So right here is not the same thing. So we have this small text right in the left. Then they are aligned in the left, but you see they should be in the same line. You could probably just bring the small text in the same line at the other part of the text, and it will be kind of it will be better. But then you should just think about why would I leave this empty space. Usually we just want to start reading from here. So not only align all of the text in the same line, but also moving the text more for the left would be better. So the solution, the right answer right here is just moving this back to the left in the same line as this text. And the same idea happens here. So it's kind of confusing this text in the right bottom. The same goes to the text on the left, and overall the image is just not as cohesive, as good, as clear to understand. So proximity. Proximity is all about how you connect information, and this kind of seems like a little bit abstract. Obviously, the image in the next slide will help you understand better. But when we think about experience or readability and pretty much everything we want with great design, we need to be cohesive. We need to make things feel like they belong in the same coherent space, artwork, design, whatever, or in the same group might be a better definition. So as you can see, it helps us just understand what's going on, in the image. So if we jump back to the slides, we can kind of understand that all of this is kind of belongs together. It's talking about like the name of our company, the website, and our Instagram. Here's talking about the product we're developing. You can understand that the principle number 4 is connected to what is proximity. So proximity is the principle by itself, and the kind of the content of the slide, the text, and the development of this idea just happens in the right, because they are more close to each other than here. So the same thing goes here. So we have all these atlas just kind of placed together. I understand, okay, this is the space where I'm placing atlas. Now this is the space that I'm placing information about each athlete. I understand that it is another group. And in the right bottom part of the design artwork, we just kind of have this information about the time of the game, who plays against who, and whatever. The same idea in the carousel with typography. So I understand this is the title, and as they are like close to each other, I understand that this text should be immediately followed by the title. So I read the title, and then I jump directly to the support text or the contents itself, and then we have the checklist. All the lines, all the checkboxes are close to each other. So I understand, like, okay, this is a checklist or something like this. So it's pretty, or kind of a brain automatically just understand these ideas, and or I just move more fluidly through the work. And so right here is like that really weird. So if we look at this kind of carousel, is the VIP experience for you, and see how far the title or the question is to answer. So now I kind of have to go through all information in the art, then to get to my answer. It would definitely be better if we just kind of move this character up, and maybe the question could be just more over here or something like this. The same idea happens here. We just have too much information. So if we just look for the De Bruyne artwork, just gets a little messy, because we kind of have the name of the player here, but you're talking about the award he won, but just kind of have like a lot of pictures of him. and they are like all placed all around the image. So definitely not the same clearness or the same objectivity. It's not just that they cannot they can't communicate the idea as well as in the other examples. A good solution here would probably just place all images of the player in the same square. Then you could probably work with typography in the right side of the image. Now, let's go to principle number 5. We have repetition. And repetition is pretty much all about creating patterns. And it's a great idea about this principle that is we kind of want to have the same patterns and so repetitions all around the design. So our eyes and our brain kind of understands that this is kind of cohesive. This makes sense. I understand. I kind of get it. What is happening, and this is usually really good because it's all about the experience once again. And it's not really necessarily you have to repeat like pictures or even elements. It's more about they kind of have to be related to each other. Like probably maybe they have the same color, the same size. They just kind of belong in the same sequence or something like this. And you could use like an example that is in the slide is like using different geometric forms to, but in the same size, the same color, or just kind of place it like bands together, so you can create like a visual identity for your layout. And so repetition that kind of works well would just have like all of these kind of small geometric shapes, and so as we put them in the right, it kind of I understand what's going on. Okay, I see like this is a pattern. It's like a texture of this brand or something like this. So the same idea happens and as we repeat fonts. So it's another way of doing this principle kind of works. So using the same typography all around the design work also has the idea. And in this Nigeria flyer, you see that the pattern in the jersey is the same one over here and in the Nike symbol. So our eyes can kind of understand that it's the same idea, the same is really cohesive. It kind of makes sense that this image, this player is placed in the background. So if we move on, wow, this is really probably it just became really clear to you what we're talking about when we talk about repetition, because now it's just really confusing, really messy. Nothing kind of makes sense. So just like a lot of stuff going around. This Giannis is not the high, and also not right. This image has problem pretty much in all principles we just mentioned. So if this image just felt like weird to you, probably you understand the idea of the class. If not, probably should try to slow down the class or read the slides, because the colors are not really good right here. The repetitions is just really overall confusing. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of colors, does not really make sense like anything. So there's no pattern to follow here. And the problem with this is like you could argue like that, oh, there's a repetition, like the same elements are using here and here, but that is okay. But when now we're kind of using other stuff in the background, just kind of gets confusing. So and also the solution that is just like duplicating and rotating this kind of group, it's not really original. It's like really just really basic solution, and they don't really fit the rest of the image. So I could just take, it kind of looks like the German flag, but if we just take this out of the image, just not really kind of feel like it belongs to it. Like I could just take it away and it would change anything. And I even have a problem with the circle and how the shapes work. Like they do not belong together. They do not fit. They don't feel like they are in the same identity. So it kind of bothers you a little bit, or should at least. And balance is the last principle we're talking about here. So just another one that just kind of closes that this group of essential ideas, rules, and that we're calling principles. So the idea of balance is that we kind of want to have symmetry in our design work, that we should try to distribute elements, typography, images, whatever, like in the same proportion along the design work. So through this idea of balance, we can kind of understand how should we organize the overall things, that the overall components of some design work. And also you could like just go in the symmetrical solution, or with consciousness, or with purpose that go in the asymmetrical way. Symmetry occurs when it's pretty much all even divided evenly, and asymmetry like is just the opposite idea. So we try to use the principle of balance to create contrast. So the probably the visual examples will work better for you. So this is symmetry. You understand, like there's a circle here, another one here. And now it should probably just pop to you right now, the idea of balance. So is asymmetry because we have just one ball here and two here, but if you understand, like the overall feel, the overall weight of the both sides are kind of similar. So you could say like there's balance if you just kind of have the area of this image and the area of both them together. It kind of goes the same way, so that's usually a good sign. So if we just go to real examples, balance that works well, you see like there's Kobe, there's Messi, so we have one in the middle, two in the sides. We have Giannis and Mahomes, once again two in the corners, and then we have I'm not sure who plays it, but he plays for the Dodgers. So it even looks like a triangle, and we even have this Formula One car. So you kind of understand like this is symmetry, by the way. So, but it's also really balanced the artworks. If we just like let all these elements like go through, they would just like probably remain the same. So the idea of balance really exists, and in this visiting color flyer is not that obviously, because we kind of have this Dallas Maverick photo kind of going away. The same here, the same thing happens here, but if you actually pay attention to this, it's pretty much the same triangle way of placing the players or the players' pictures. Then we once again kind of have this balance. It just kind of feels good. So this is kind of a problem right here, because it's just waiting too much for one side, and usually we don't want to do this. Like it's okay if we just have one image in one part of the image, in one part of the design area, and we work with elements or typography on the other side. So we have balance. We don't need to repeat the elements necessarily, but it just kind of feels a little off in those examples. And we come to the end of our first class when talking about principles of design, and in this module 2 of our Flutter Gothic course. Hope you guys enjoyed this class. So it's kind of always a hard question, to a hard quest. I would probably say hard work to try to teach principles just in like this class format. You should definitely be looking forward to our classes that we actually create something from the zero, and we talk about these principles, and you definitely be see them, understand them better as you see our course going on. as you move on to the next classes. But you should never try to understand, to create or recreate, maybe create maybe a do-over of some work you've done in the past, and see if now the idea of contrast, hierarchy, balance, and all these things, principles, now makes more sense to you right now. If you can understand what is going on, what is going right or wrong in both your work or other people's work, is a really good exercise to kind of get these ideas and more naturally to you. So when I work with right in Photoshop right now, or if you just work with like a more experienced professional, they just kind of have this really like naturally. So I don't really need to be conscious all the time that these are the 6 rules that I need to follow. But just like the feeling, like the eye test just kind of goes in a really fluid manner. So really a big deal that we cover in this class. So hope you guys liked it, and we have more to go.